Welcome, fight fans,
to the Fighters Boys Kick-Ass Podcast.
Your Fight Talk Authority.
Not to mention the most entertaining and talked about podcast with your kick-ass host, Richard Ortiz.
You mad? Come at me, bro.
And his loyal kick-ass co-host, Senor Cole Escovedo.
Streaming live and worldwide.
Coming to you all the way live from a little place somewhere in Cali. The Fighters Boys
Kick-Ass Podcast.
Fresno, California, we're live here on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz, along with my co-host with the most, the UFC veteran himself, Mr. Cole Escovedo. What's happening, Cole?
What's up, amigo? How's the knee this week?
The knee is good. Actually, I got good news.
Yeah?
Yeah. I got a date
for
my right knee.
Oh, okay. Oh, that fast already? They already wanted
September 9th.
Damn.
September 9th.
It's faster than Khabib and Gaethje.
Hey, it is. It is.
So they felt that there was enough positive progress with the left
We're
one.
making leaps and bounds.
So they feel your recovery
Jumping,
is
yes.
sped up enough that they're like, you can sustain.
Exactly.
Will it be able to sustain weight is what they're saying?
Yes, and it's strong. It's very strong. It's just a reminder that it is a marathon.
You sound like fucking Trump when you did that. The knee, it's strong. I hear it's really strong. It's better than the right knee by far. It's improved.
Yes.
So no, that's good though.
No, I'm glad. You know, I got a Ferrari on the left knee. I'm about to get a Lambo on the right.
They're gonna put
brand new knee, man.
Damn.
A whole new knee replacement.
Cap, joint, ball.
Bro, don't remind me of everything that goes into it, that they're going to open up this thing and put another one in there.
Damn. But dude, I mean, it could be worse. It could have like a robotic
I don't
knee.
want to put it off too long.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to wake up and say, okay, let's rehab this thing and let's move on with our lives.
Yeah.
And to move forward.
2 free knees ain't bad.
No. But you know what? I tell you what's not bad. My gosh, this weekend, Golden Boy Promotions, my man, Virgil Ortiz Jr. stepped up to the plate, made good of the opportunity of becoming the main event of the evening, and just is the talk of the town. He was the talk of the town before at 147 pounds, but people are not just talking, they're writing songs about this dude. And the guy, my man, who put it together, the man behind the scenes, the one that says yay or nay, or you know what, I like it here, or hey, let's suggest here. Our guest tonight, the one, the only, from Golden Boy Promotions, the Matchmaker, Roberto Diaz. Welcome to the show, Roberto.
Thank you guys very much, Richard. It's a blessing to be here with you guys today, and I really appreciate it, and looking forward to it, man. Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. Listen, we've had some other networks open up with the whole coronavirus as far as fighting, and that was UFC. And then Top Rank took their shot. Now Golden Boy made their mark this Saturday, and it was a great event. The fights were all pretty much competitive. We had one that we can probably, learn from, I guess. I mean, or just, hey.
Absolutely.
Move on from that. But I want to talk about the main event. And I want to talk about, Roberto, how that main event became the main event. Because originally, it was going to be King Ryan Garcia, who was going to be the main event. And we all know his following. We know his talent pool. And we know he's no stranger to the microphone, man. Talk to us about how Virgil Ortiz was granted the main event and performed.
Well, Richard, it started off, he was the first fight that or the second fight. We had 2 fights back in March that got canceled because of the pandemic.
That's right.
We had a March 19th card where Lamont Roach, Joey Gonzalez, and Marlon Esparza were all going to make their return after fighting for world titles. And then Virgil was the following week. He was on the, headlining the card at the Forum when the whole shutdown happened. And it was only right that obviously, he start things back up as well. We offered the date. Oscar really pushed for July 4th. He wanted thinking right through the shutdown and came up with we always do Cinco de Mayo cards. We always do Mexican Independence in September.
Yeah.
Why not a 4th of July card?
Exactly. Roberto, let's bring fireworks to the event, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's totally, obviously most of the time people are at home, barbecuing, and give them another reason to something else to enjoy. You do your barbecue, you watch your fights, and then go light up your fireworks, once you get heated from these fights. So it was a perfect idea, and then we thought it would be an amazing opportunity. Obviously, we couldn't finalize terms, and Ryan decided, him and his team decided to wait, and we gave the call to Virgil. He was in Texas. And he said, look, I can't be ready for July 4th because it was only like a few more weeks to go.
Yeah.
But I'll be ready for July. So we pushed it more to the end to give him more time to prepare. Samuel Vargas as well. We brought him into Vegas. He did his camp there. He had plenty of time to get ready. So they were always, after the fight got canceled, we contacted the roster, everybody, and said, just stay ready, guys. Do as much as you can with the safety measurements that you have to use, but try to stay as healthy and ready to go, because those that are going to be ready or need less time were the ones that get back in the ring the soonest. And that's how it worked out. And yes, we were very excited. Samuel Vargas, we knew was going to be a tough guy. He has the experience. He's a veteran. He's tough. He's rough. And it could provide some more rounds. It could provide more experience. But now in Hessen, seeing the results after the fight, man, it's no wonder everybody's excited about this young man. He trains hard. He's dedicated to his sport, and he wants big things. And you could see it with the results that he's putting in the ring. I mean, the jab was beautiful. It was like another punch. It wasn't just a jab.
We were just talking about that. That's like that Larry. That's like that Larry Holmes jab.
Yeah, it was hurting. It was doing damage. And once he realized, okay, Vargas isn't going out anytime soon, let me start breaking it down, putting together, he started changing up the speeds and everything. So I was very impressed, very happy with the result, and obviously bigger and better things for Virgil.
Exactly. And questions are just flying in today. But Cole, we're talking about a man who's, of course, we know the face of Golden Boy. The face, bigger than that, the face of boxing is Canelo. But yet, there's also these stars that are just waiting to be born. When I say born, the opportunity was given on a great platform for Virgil Ortiz. His name was called. He stepped up. Great event Saturday.
Yeah, and that's what you, like Roberto was saying, telling those guys, stay healthy, stay ready. The ones that say, yeah, I need a week. I need 10 days. You know what I mean? Like, those are the ones that are going to get the first, like you said, off the checklist. Those are going to be the first guys that are going to go, good.
Right,
you got to fight, you got to fight, you got to fight. The guys that are like, oh, I need like 4 weeks. Okay, we'll get back to you. Because there's going to be a dude that only needs 2 weeks who's got the same credentials.
It would be great if they said 4 weeks. A lot of these guys are saying, hey, I need 10 weeks. I need more, And I understand some of these cases, because of the situation we're in, some gyms in other states are not even open yet, so they can't even go in and spar. They could do as much as possible, at home, run around the neighborhood and stuff, but at the end of the day, they need some of that sparring. But when they really, right now, you're calling them and they say, well, I need a full camp, I need 10 weeks, and it's like, oh, come on, what have you been doing for the last 3 months? So it's no surprise when you say, okay, well, then I'll see you, sometime in December, maybe.
Yeah, those are the guys that aren't committed to the fact that they need a job still.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, man. And you know what? I'm gonna throw a jab right now. I'm gonna throw a jab right now. If you ever need somebody on your roster at 160 pounds, man, I'm gonna give a shout out to Kilo the Kid Madera from Stockton, California. I'm gonna have to send you his number and some video footage of him.
Yeah, no, I every once in a while we exchange, messages. Very determined, very hardworking, looking for a great opportunity, and absolutely, he'd be a kid that definitely will put on a show and give the fans the type of fight they'd like to see.
Exactly.
Shout out to Kilo.
Yeah, exactly. You give him one call, the next call, you're going to be on the phone, you're going to say hello, and he's going to be at your front door ready, man. So, yeah.
Exactly. That's how it should be. Hey, those are the ones that are ready for that phone call and can change, they're ready to take an opportunity and take it to the next level.
Exactly, they are. Hey, you know what? I'm going to jump into these questions because I'm just getting flooded by them. This next question is from trainer Rashad Jones. He said, what's next for Sugar Shane Mosley Jr.? He looked spectacular Saturday. Friday, rather.
I spoke to his manager this afternoon, and I was happy with the result. Sometimes the biggest critic could be myself, but sometimes the biggest critics are themselves, yes. The fighters. And I like to critique each fight and take it fight by fight. I loved what I saw. I mean, we knew with Jeremy Ramos, he was no slouch, regardless of his record. The kid could fight. He's tough. He's fought for Golden Boy a few times, and bring him back because he is one of those guys that if you're not ready or you don't take him serious because of his record, he could pull up the upset. But what I liked, and I told Mike today when we spoke, is Shane got the rounds. And in every round, you could see him start getting more comfortable and then performing better. It was almost like he was overthinking too much at the beginning to look perfect. But then as he relaxed and listened to his corner, started getting more comfortable. And that's normal. That's expected. I mean, look, tremendous last name. You know, his father was Hall of Famer, a tremendous fighter,
Yes.
so there's that pressure. First fight with Golden Boy, first fight back in California. I mean, there were so many different things. They're not used to this whole bubble, isolation and quarantine. So a lot of things had to be overcome, but you could see him getting more and more relaxed. So to answer the question, I'd like to see him in a 10-rounder, you know, with a step-up type opponent, and then see how he looks. And then obviously the whole thing with Shane Jr. is he wants some big fights. And, you know, I think after 2 or 3 fights, we can sit down with his team and decide, all right, what route do we want to go?
No, sounds good. And actually, there was a kid here from Tulare, California, and he had a fight with him on The Contender. His name was Daniel Valdivia. And I remember he was very vocal. He said, man, I would love the opportunity to find him again. I mean, he's a class act inside and outside of the ring, but he wants his opportunity. And I said, hey, man, I'll mention it on the show, but you got to make that call and adjustment yourself, man. So just give him a little shout out there.
I know Daniel.
Chapulín.
I know him and Capulín, Chapulín, and his brothers, tremendous people.
Yes,
all
great
respect
family.
to them.
Yeah, no, they're nice people. This next question is coming in from Fresno, California. Gym owner Frank Alamon. Hey, when Roberto's ever in Fresno, can he please stop by our gym? And maybe we need 10 minutes of his time just to talk to our fighters and just the impact his presence would bring our young club.
I would love to. It would be a pleasure and an honor. And if I mean, right now there's no immediate plans to be out there, but if we could do a Zoom call in the meantime, feel free to pass on my information, and I'd love to jump on there and talk to some of the kids and give them that, you know, obviously that any dream is possible as long as they put all the time and the hard work into it.
Exactly. No, exactly. And you know what? Speaking of the dream, you know what's coming up is I need that story again. Marco Antonio Barrera, the mall, it never gets old. It says when you tell it, I can visualize it. And I want everybody else to visualize it as well. I'm going to hit one more question, and we're going to jump into that. This next question is coming in from Pita Garcia, trainer at Robert Garcia's Boxing Academy. Wow, okay.
Be nice, Pita. Be nice, Pita.
I was going to say, he said, let's stop waiting, man. It's time. Virgil Ortiz versus Bud Crawford. What's your thoughts?
You know what? Virgil wants to fight the best of the division. He's a throwback. He's one of those old school. I mean, I was asked a long time ago, who did he remind me of? And without hesitation or thinking, I said, you know what? Eric Morales, just, you know, has so much ability and boxing and jabbing and power. But the mentality, I want to fight the best. This is a kid who's not just saying it. He actually wants to fight the best, to see where he's at, to prove to the world. It's part of the legacy building. I would like to see him in with a Danny Garcia, with a Keith Thurman, with those things. And then obviously, you know, moved on later on with the Spence and the Crawford. Of course. It's a young man's sport. Sometimes I hear comments from fans saying, "Oh, he's too young." And then when they're 32, oh, he's too old. It's a young man's sport. He's in his prime. He's building right now. He's maturing. It's just a little bit more, a couple more fights to get him that perfect experience. And then we're ready to go. Virgil's ready for anybody.
There you go. Cole, from your experience, is it better sooner than later in boxing?
MMA? I mean, they're both combat sports, so the factor of the shelf life is really what you got to worry about there. And Roberto's right. Like, there's a window.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys say, oh, he's too young. Well, when it comes to a man's sport, there's too young because you're not really grown into your man strength yet, I guess, so to say. You haven't really peaked as far as your potential of strength and heat power. But that's just too young from lack of experience is where I look at too young. Like, he's only got 3 or 4 fights. He's young. Versus a guy who's 22, has 10 fights. The motherfucker's hustling. He's grinding. He's getting in wins. So the too old thing, that's a major factor you have to consider. Anything after 30, you kind of start, I mean, take Yoel Romero, though. He's a goddamn specimen. But usually after that, you know, it's a downhill. There's just nothing you can do about it. It's science. You can prolong it for as long as you want with science and nutrition and healthy living and stuff like that. Sure, of course, great. But
got to take advantage of that window.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of your window while it's there.
Well, I'm glad. I'm going to leave it right there, taking advantage of that window and also that opportunity. And we're talking about a man's man when it comes to boxing. Even a fan at one point happens to come across, and I'll let you tell a story, Marco Antonio Barrera, who is a legend in boxing. Many had said he was coming up. He was the next coming to Julio Cesar Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, etc. My man, Roberto Diaz, notices him in the mall, and he takes that opportunity. I'm going to let you tell the story, my man.
It's crazy. It's still at times, when I tell it, people are like, no way. And it's hard even when I'm telling it to believe it, how far, years later, where I'm at, where I landed. But I met him at a mall during the Christmas season in San Diego. We were shopping with the family, and then I see him. He had just come off a loss with Junior Jones, the second fight.
Yeah.
So he had back-to-back losses, but he was one of my favorite fighters prior to that. I mean, you were seeing him fight. He made so many defenses. He won the title early. He debuted at 15. It was that typical strong, aggressive Mexican fighter that I really always liked. And I went up to him to say, hey, keep your head up, champ, and I'm a big fan. You'll be back. And then I remember running all over the mall to try to find a boxing item so he can sign for me. Because I've always been very particular. If it's a boxer, if it's a baseball player, if it's whatever the sport or the personality or the celebrity is, I want to get something signed of that. It wasn't like, can you sign a dollar bill or can you sign a napkin?
Yeah.
So I couldn't find, obviously, anything at the mall. And I see him walking, waiting for him outside one of the stores, and I see him walk by again. And I approach him once again. He probably thought, man, this guy's stalking me. But I approached him once again, and I said, hey, Marco, if I give you my address, would you mind sending me an autographed picture? Again, I'm a big fan. And he said, yeah, give it to me. So I gave him the address and go home, and, a few weeks passed, and I thought, maybe he forgot. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, I get a package in the mail, studio photograph and a T-shirt and,
wow.
A note, hey, stay in touch. And that was December. So now, I think it was a year or so later that I read that he's going to fight at Phagnasay Springs, of all places. Now, one of our second homes.
There you go.
And he fought it outdoors before they had the convention center, before they had the ballroom there. And I went out there. I went to Phagnasay Springs to watch him fight. This is December 98. And as soon as he checked into the commission table, the promoter's table, or check-in, he looks over and he goes, hey, San Diego. So he remembered. Now, obviously through the years, I found out Marco has tremendous memory. He doesn't forget things. So
very smart man. Educated man.
He said, San Diego. And I'm like, yeah. Hey, come on in. Come in the back with us. And I went in the back. He introduced me to his whole team, Rudy Perez, the trainer, his father, brother, his manager at the time. And ended up taking pictures at that fight on ring mat. And it was a pretty cool experience. So fast forward, I go to the Morales fight with him and his team. And we became very good friends, visited him in camp in Big Bear. And little by little, he was like, hey, why don't you come to my next fight and carry the flag and be part of the entourage and this and that. And it was like a dream come true just at that point. It was like, no way, carrying the flag with Marco Barrera. What?
Getting bigger than that.
Absolutely. So little by little, it started going that way, and just friends and hang out and vacations after the fights together with the wives, and we developed a very, very good friendship and relationship. When he left his his promoter at the time in management, he calls me and says, hey, I'm gonna go over with Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Will you, come work with me? And I said, absolutely, because before I wasn't working for him. I was there as friend, company, and hey, bring in the flag, you get tickets to the fight, come with me here, there. But I wasn't working with him. And at that point, he said, come work for me. So it was a dream come true. I mean, look, I've been 13 years now at Golden Boy because of that. I think sometimes that if he would have asked me, you take care of the fights, you deal with Golden Boy and negotiate the fights and the money and everything, and I would have said, Marco, you need somebody that knows, better. I mean, it wasn't like I was starting with a 4-rounder. I was starting with a obviously now Hall of Famer, but a world champion.
Exactly.
And I was like, okay. But if I would have said no, I wouldn't be here today.
What if you didn't go to the mall that day? What did you go to the mall that day for? I wanted to ask you that. Did you go buy some shoes? Were you there to get your wife some perfume?
Christmas shopping. It was the holidays, and I was just, out there buying gifts and everything, and it just, I mean, that moment obviously opened up for the rest of the life. I'm godfather to his oldest son, and
oh, wow.
It just, it became a great relationship, a great learning experience, because being in that camp life, even today,
educated
helps me. Exactly, because now I can understand these fighters, what they have to go through, the sacrifices. I mean, we were up in camp in Big Bear 8 times maybe, and each time was at least 6 weeks, where even though I'm not fighting, I was away from my family for 6 weeks. And to see the sacrifices these guys do, and sometimes you hear a fan or somebody, they don't know what they go through, and say, man, that fight was easy. Yeah, maybe that fight looked easy, but behind that fight was 2 or 3 months of pain in the ass, hard work, because sometimes they get up and they don't even want to run, but they have to.
Exactly. Man, every time I hear that story, man, it's just that chance, that opportunity, because you could have watched them go by, or even the second time said, nah, but you just went for it. And look where it led, that opportunity. You'd have never guessed exactly where. We're posting a picture right now, Marco Antonio Barrera, man, living legend, man.
And that's the message to all the time I try to deliver that message to people is, look, don't let nobody tell you it can't. You can't, because you can, as long as you want to and you're determined. Sometimes it takes longer. People call me, hey, I don't have experience, but I love boxing. Can I work for you? Look, maybe start with a smaller promotion. And even if they don't pay you, go work, put the chairs, tag the seats, separate tickets, whatever. But you get your foot in the door, learn the business, learn the experience, because eventually, if you're working hard, they're not going to let you go. They're going to pay you. And then it could lead up to more bigger and better things. And that's exactly what happened with me. I mean, after Marco retired, I get the call from Golden Boy, hey, do you want to come work for us? And I'm like, Eric calls me and says, the company's growing. Eric Gomez, president today, he calls me and says, company's growing and I need help to sign young fighters and match and everything. You'll be my assistant. And I said, I couldn't sleep. First of all, I couldn't sleep for 2 or 3 days because I'm like, oh man, I got to move to LA and I don't know. What are they going to expect from me? I'm not used to the 9 to 5. But I said, you know what? I'm never going to know if I don't go and try it.
Exactly.
And plus, it was my passion. Work boxing and work for Oscar de la Hoya. Let's go. Let's try it. And it's been 13 years. 13 years.
That is a wonderful story. That is a true story and an inspiration. Co, Dana White calls you right now and says, Co, Escovedo, I need you to go to every fighter's camp and I need you to do research on them and then bring us back this research and commentating. Here's your check right here. Your life's about to change.
Well, yeah.
Boom, this opportunity.
Yeah, that's a really good opportunity. I was just going to agree with him. Say is like the interning stuff pays off because what happens is when they decide to pay you, like when they decide, hey, we're going to put you on payroll, that's basically them saying whatever work and effort you put in is being acknowledged because we now feel that an investment in you. Yeah. Because that's what a paycheck is. It's the company or the promotion or whoever's paying you is investing in you to do what is needed to be part of the team. So I would agree with what Roberto was saying. Do the intern work, do the grunt work, get in where you can, get paid where you can, but that's how you get in. He's right. You get in, you learn, and all of a sudden they want to pay you because they feel you're worth investing in. You're part of the team. And that's the goal. And not only that, it's for you to believe in yourself. Because you could have easily said, no, I'm going to pass on this. Or, hey, no, never mind. But you know what you said? Let's do it. Let's go for it. Because you felt comfortable and your passion was there.
And sometimes, look, it's also, you learn this from the boxing game, too, that, let's just say, when I was offered the job with Golden Boy, I want to negotiate first, and I want to negotiate or the salary, and I want to go, and it's a turnoff at times. Yeah. What if I'll take the job, but you got to pay me this much, not that much, and that turns them off. Or okay, we'll give it to you. Then I get there and I'm not performing. So what I did is I'm not even going to negotiate the salary. whatever they give me, I'll take, because I don't know if it's going to be what they want from me.
Yeah, you
Let me
earn
go out
as
there,
you go.
let me prove myself, let me see what I can do. And trust me, over the years, I've been very happy. I mean, they've taken care of me tremendously. I'm still a matchmaker, I'm matchmaking and everything, but today I'm also the vice president of Golden Boy. So it's like, you know,
Wait. Hold on, Roberto.
Kind of glossed over that, right?
What did you just say?
Today, I'm the matchmaker. That's my role.
Yes.
That's what I love. But I was Oscar named me vice president.
Congratulations, my man. I didn't know that personally. Very well deserved.
It's something that I'm still a matchmaker, but it's obviously something that showed me that, hey, look, he's seeing my work and he's appreciates me and everything, because to give me that title, obviously it's something very motivating and something I appreciate from him.
I can't wait till this coronavirus is over. Cole, I'm going to go to the mall, and I'm just going to say, hey, who's looking for a freaking podcast?
I was going to say,
I'm just going to do the freaking mall during Christmas time. Okay, the busiest time out there. I'm saying, hey, who's looking for a host?
Look for athletes. Just go down to
let's
walk in the mall for athletes. Be like, hey,
let's do it.
You look famous as shit. Do you have a manager?
Exactly. I mean, from the mall to vice president of freaking Golden Boy Promotions. Doesn't
yeah,
get
well, I
better than
mean,
that.
and that's the thing. Is
the hard work too.
That's what he was just saying about those people that'll look at the TV fights and go, "Oh man, that fight was easy." Mall to Golden Boy. Well, there's a 13-year gap in there.
Yes,
like
exactly.
there's that every single story, every single step. Like it sounds like a good book title.
Yeah.
You know, from mall to Golden Boy VP. But there's so much. There's 13 years of stuff in there. Like all the little stories you got.
The first two shows, I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit.
It was tough.
The first two shows, I said, "Oh no, this is not for me." First of all, they were both in very cold weather, and I'm a hot weather guy. I hate the cold. I was in Boston in the snow, and then January and February, I believe, were the months. And it was January, I think, in Chicago, or January in Boston, and then the following month it was either or. But they were some tough shows. I mean, I was dressing up the ring, taking down the dressing.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's super great.
Conducting the weigh-in. My first fight, the main event, they almost had a fight after the weigh-in because one of the guys didn't make weight, and it was just working on telling them to make weight and please, you gotta make weight. But I was alone. There. I was the only rep for Golden Boy. So after the first two shows, I'm like, man, you know what? This is not for me. My family was in Sacramento. I was here in LA. I would drive every weekend when there wasn't a show. Then it started getting tiring driving that road and flying. Then it started getting expensive. Then I started saying, you know what? It took about 8 months when I finally told her, you know what? I'm staying here. It's gravy. It's good now. It's time for you to come over with the kids. And again, it's been 13 great years.
Well, you know what? Every good man has a good woman right behind him, supporting him, and just letting him and trusting him that the family will be taken care of as well as his dream. You know, because the saying goes, you know, a happy house, a happy wife. Well, sometimes the husband needs to be happy as well because they want to know that exactly it is a team effort.
Yeah, it's a team effort. So
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right on that.
Not really. Some people get in that rut of like codependency and stuff. It's not codependency as more as it co-reliability. Co-accountability.
Yeah.
You hold each other accountable, you hold each other reliable. That's how you both are honest and open with each other so you can both grow and not have prolonged fights and resentment and stuff. It's just, look, we talk about it when there's a problem.
I mean, it's just great that she was very supportive as opposed to, no, I'm not moving over there.
Yeah, I don't
even
move my
like
stuff.
boxing. What are you talking about? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
You can commute.
Yeah,
it's funny because after, you know, we moved, I kept, obviously took the job and stayed and moved her and my kids out here. She ended up working for Canelo Alvarez. She's a personal assistant for Canelo, so...
Oh, wow.
I guess.
Where is that mall located again? Shit, I'm going to head over there. Man. I can get a flight over there, man. Even if it's not open, I'll be the first one there, man.
Just, if people are walking around just waiting to be, you know, found, like...
Roberto, God has blessed you tremendously, giving you the desires of your heart, my man.
Absolutely. It's a dream come true every day. I mean, like I said, working for Oscar, talking to Bernard Hopkins, Miguel
B-Hop.
Cotto, all these fighters of that status, and working with Morales and Matisse and all these fighters all over the world, the young ones coming up, you learn so much from them, and gives you more of that desire to keep going and working hard, to make these dreams come true.
Exactly. And talking about dreams coming true, this next comment, it's not really a question, it's coming from someone who's actually chasing their dream right now and very satisfied with Golden Boy Promotions, and that's Victor Morales Sr., the father of Victor Morales Jr. He said, tell Roberto he's doing a fantastic job. We love the team Golden Boy, and Junior can't wait to get back in the ring and show his skill set and take that opportunity that's given to him.
Thank you so much to Mr. Morales and the family, Victor. I mean, all my love to you guys. And see, that is something that's it's the payback. It's the payoff to all the hard works and all those tough calls and the fights falling out. Is to see legit, just genuine, real people. When Victor signed with Golden Boy,
yes.
I'll tell you a quick story on Victor. His management team, brought us information on Victor. Hey, would you like to sign him and this and that? But we have a huge table, and it was like, yeah, all right, good look at him, and saw some footage, exciting, fun to watch, great for TV. But I said, you know what, Lyle, we're really full right now, so I'm not going to be able to sign him. And we weren't signing fighters. We're at a show at Fantasy Springs, and Victor caught my eye. Obviously, he wasn't in the ring fighting. He was outside the ring. And sometimes that can tell you a lot about the individual, more than watching a video or watching, him in the ring. I saw him out of the ring. First of all, he dresses impeccable. The kid looked like a movie star. And he walked in. He had the suit on, the hanky on, he looked good. But when I went over to him and I said, hey, you're Victor Morales, right? He goes, yeah, pleased to meet you. I'm Robert Diaz. His present is his first of all, tremendous personality. Obviously, we know what he can do in the ring. He's a young up-and-coming fighter that is hungry, trains hard, but he's very well-spoken. Parents did a great job, and I respect them that. And then I found out the story that when he was younger, a life-size cutout of Oscar De La Hoya, that was his idol. And
yes,
look, dreams do come true. He ended up signing with Golden Boy. So again, that's the message for everybody. Work hard, because opportunity. If you work hard and knock on those doors.
Exactly. I can tell you something similar. Excuse me. The first time that I've watched Victor was in Oregon. I want to say about 3 years ago. And right after the fight, he was in this, it looked like kind of Conor McGregor suit. He was just GQ'd out, greeting his fans, signing autographs. They were selling shirts at the time, and it's the way he conducted himself outside of the ring. So I agree with you 100%. Both mom and dad, class act. I've sat down and was able to break bread with both of them, and they took me in like they knew me. And his dad, to this day, his dad says, Richard, you're one of the real ones. So I appreciate that. And actually, I'm rocking the shirt right here. Team Morales all day long, man.
There you go.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But there's some good stuff, Roberto, because your stuff, it really happens, man. These stories and these opportunities in the lives from going to, hey, we're not signing fighters right now, but you saw something in him outside of the ring. And I don't call it chance. I always divine intervention, man. I believe that, and things happen for a reason. So, hey,
no,
man.
and they could have been, and look at that. Again, the message is, he could have said, oh, Golden Boy doesn't want to sign me. All right, you know what? Well, I don't want to go to their show.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that you get from a lot. It's not personal. Sometimes it's like, hey, I can't sign anybody right now, but I'm going to keep an eye on them and then later contact them, but they don't give you that opportunity. You know what, F you, you don't want to sign me? It's your loss, not mine. All right, sometimes that also gives you, okay, maybe I'm glad I didn't, because look at that attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
But he didn't correspond like that. You know what? He was at the show. I approached him, very, very personal. Well spoken, everything, and that caught my eye. I called Lyle, I think the next day or 2 days later or something. I said, Lyle, just got on the phone with Victor. I want to sign this kid. And he's like, what? I thought you were good. I wasn't. I shouldn't, but I want to sign him because he caught my attention, and not for what he can do in the ring, but that presentation outside of the ring, which is also very important because those are the kids that could be the role models.
Brandability, marketability,
Exactly.
That's what you see there when you see that. Because you got to remember, you can invest all you want into a boxer, but if you're not investing into who the fighter is, you'll waste your money, but you won't make the maximum revenue you can from them, which is the goal as a boxing promotion, is to make fucking money. But you want to make sure you pick your tools, your assets correctly. So when you have somebody that can be marketable and brandable, speaks well, looks good, all that stuff in front of a camera, and he can fight.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that's a good combo.
Kid,
yeah,
too.
it's a good-looking kid. Like, that's a good combo. You can sell them. Like, that's what it is. You can push that product, which is all fighters. Like I said in the past, fighters need to just realize that they are product first, and they are just that. You are a product, and you're being given a platform. You're being given an opportunity based on your work and your efforts, obviously. But the promotion is giving you an opportunity. That's why fighters aren't employees. They're not owned by the company. It's like, dude, we're giving you the chance to fight. You can not fight. That's fine. But somebody else is going to, and they're going to get seen by that sponsor, and they're going to reap the rewards. Miss the boat.
Exactly.
100%. 100%.
You know, we got a lot to cover, but in this case, I will say this about Morales. He got caught doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes, you know, when someone says, hey, your boss is looking at you, and I always tell them, well, good, well, maybe he'll learn something.
Yeah.
He'll catch me doing it right.
Yeah.
We caught Morales showing everybody he is who he says he is. That's who he truly is.
Yeah.
That person.
The character
Exactly.
was presented.
Exactly. Here's a question coming in from Lukey from ITR Boxing. Blair Cobbs versus Virgil Ortiz. Is this possible?
It is possible. It is absolutely possible. So for this July 24th card, it was almost done. It was almost done. What happened was Blair had just started training with Freddie Roach like a day before when I called the manager. The manager said, yes, we like it. Blair likes it. But Freddie's the one, I think, that said, look, give us a couple fights and then we can do it. And I understand. I mean, Freddie wanted to work with Blair, maybe work on some things and make sure that they're going in there with the best opportunity for him if he's going to go in there and compete with Virgil Ortiz, which I think we can do. I think we really, really can get that fight done, and it's a fight that the fans should enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to respect it. Coming from the legend Freddie Roach himself, he knows the process. He knows the sweet science, and he knows when his fighter, given the opportunity, will be ready. So, in fact, yeah, good call there.
Knowing your fighter, knowing what they're capable of and what the best direction is. That's always smart. Remember, marathon.
A marathon,
not a sprint.
A marathon. Well, this next question is coming in from Virgil Ortiz Sr. Now, it says, and he says, and then he goes, out. He goes, ask Roberto this, man. Was he comfortable or nervous with Virgil Ortiz Sr. cornering Virgil Ortiz Jr. when instead of Robert Garcia? Were you nervous, or were you very comfortable there?
Not at all.
Because Robert Garcia was supposed to be cornering him, and usually does, but in this case, Dad, cornered his son.
Yes, but nobody knows Virgil better than his father.
Very
and
well
that sometimes it's not the best situation for father and son in those corners, but in this particular, I mean, I've heard that, Virgil Jr., he said, would have loved to have Robert there as well, because obviously there's a bond.
Yeah.
But nobody knows Junior, how he ticks, how he moves, everything. I mean, when you talk to Virgil's dad, he knows exactly his son. I mean, to the T. So, no, not at all. I was not even concerned at all. I knew he was in great hands.
Understood the dynamic of those two and was comfortable with it because he already knew the dynamic. He's like, I don't have to worry about that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Job will still get done.
Exactly. I can almost see him when he was sending me that message. He was kind of like laughing and saying a smile on his face. You know what I mean? I mean, because sometimes you can read people's text messages and their attitude or their tone. And I mean, I could actually see him putting the beer down and saying, "Okay, asking the question at the same time."
How do I mess with Roberto on this one? Let me put him on the spot.
Exactly.
By the way, I gotta give props and a major shout out to Junior, not only for the fight. Obviously, that's what we talked about earlier when we were talking about how he looked and what he's ready for, but the human being, that tribute he did, he dedicated the fight to Travell.
Yes, we're about to get to that.
The trunks, we're in the process of getting them over. They're going to donate it to Terrell's mom and send it over to him. So just that gesture, man, it shows you that, once that bell rings, he's a beast.
Yes.
But he's a good-hearted kid. I mean,
it's a human.
That what he did was tremendous.
Exactly. And you know what, Roberto, he's one of those few Mexicanos that loves that freaking hard rock music too, man. Playing the guitar and just getting down, man.
Yep.
I mean, exactly. You'll go from listening to mariachis, man, to just freaking banging out. You know what I mean?
You gotta have a plethora of palate tastes when it comes to your music endeavors. You have to. You can't be one genre, man. You get stale real fast that way.
It's all good, man. I like that. I mean, because, hey, everybody's entitled to like and want different things, man, and I love that. That's the freedom of expression. There he is right there. We're posting a picture of him right there. Yeah,
that's a perfect picture of like probably two of his most greatest life passions. You know what I mean? Like boxing and music. Probably two of his really heavy passions in life.
And God's blessed him in his hands. Those hands.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing with his hands.
Can you imagine? You're going to pay the bills with your hands, your fingers. You're just. Well, yeah. You
fucking elbows and feet too.
Yeah, there you go. This was coming from a UFC veteran, Escovedo. So another reminder, he used to get paid to put people to sleep, Roberto.
Senior sleepy time, man. That's what we used to call guys.
Exactly. Roberto, we're going to change it up right now. You know what? I know if nobody knows this name, then, man, I don't know where they've been, man. They've probably been on the moon. But not rumor has it. Those words are thrown out of the way. Now the stage is set. The hype is all put to a side. The opponent is in place. We're just waiting for that first bout to ring. Now I'm talking about the one, the only, the icon, Iron Mike Tyson himself, taking on arguably, possibly the best footwork that any boxer I've ever had has been compared to Willie Pep, Sugar Ray Robinson, even the footwork of Bruce Lee, and I'm talking about Roy Jones Jr. That fight taking place in September. And Carson, California. What are your thoughts on this? And I want to talk about that card that's coming up.
I'm okay with it because at the end of the day, it's entertainment. If the fans are going to be happy and go out there and support it because you have two legends. I would have been against it if you have a Mike Tyson coming back and fighting one of the young fighters today, or Roy Jones continuing in fight one of the young fighters today. But because they're both retired fighters, or not, I don't know, Roy is officially retired because he's always fighting, but because they're both fighters that are, past prime, of course, but one thing that concerns me, worries me is, doesn't matter how old you get, you can't fool Father Time.
No, he's undefeated, man. Father Time is undefeated.
But the power never leaves you. And Mike still looks like he can pop. So Roy better hope, because, like you said, I mean, that's the Fred Astaire of boxing, Roy Jones.
Yes.
But
yes, very well said.
I hope there's still a little bit of legs to keep away from that punch for 2 or 3 rounds while he gets tired, and then he can stick in there for a little bit. But those first couple rounds, I just, Mike can still punch, and if he lands that one punch on Roy, I just hope, nobody gets hurt. But I think entertainment-wise, the fans will show up and support it, and obviously, rightfully so. I mean, these are two legends that I think at one time they wanted to fight each other. Roy wanted to fight Tyson. People thought he was crazy, but I guess he wasn't so crazy. Look, he's doing it.
No, exactly. Before we move on the outcome of this, I got to ask you this, because this kind of goes with this is the question I had for you. Now, if you were given the opportunity, you're the matchmaker, Golden Boy had the rights. Who would you reach out to first if Tyson said, hey, Roberto, Oscar, I'm going to put it in Roberto's hands. Match me up with somebody. But keep me on the senior tour. When I say the senior tour, that's no disrespect. Keep me at somebody within my age. I'm not going to get in there with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder.
Of course.
Keep me with my era. Who would you match him up with?
Evander Holyfield. Number 3, Evander Holyfield. I think those guys would, obviously Evander's training, he's wanting to do something, and it's like, okay, it's like a Barrera Morales to do it all over again. Because they're at the same age and level or retirement part, it's like, okay, it's still going to be even. It's still going to be entertaining. It might start as an exhibition, but guess what? Once that first punch lands, it's going to be like, all right, come on, because they're fighters. They've been fighting all their lives. So once they get hit and hurt, it's going to be like, all right, it's on now. Forget this exhibition thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think one's going to hit one just a little hard, and then they're both going to be like, all right, fuck it. Like they're just gonna because it's a competitive thing. Like one will get hit just a little hard.
We get calls. I was receiving calls from a guy claim, saying he works with Riddick Bowe, and he was very persistent, very to the point that he was rude and aggressive, and because we wouldn't put Bowe on the cards. And I respect Bowe. He was a tremendous champion, but then there's that point where safety and health is first, and with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, and they're not talking about continuing a career now.
No.
They're talking about an exhibition, and who knows, if it's successful, they might do one or two more. But with this man who was calling me, who you could tell right away didn't know boxing, was like, you don't understand, he deserves it, he's earned it, he's 50 plus years old, and you don't want to see somebody like that get hurt, or anybody at that.
Yeah, they got to articulate what do you mean he deserves it? Like give me something recent that can articulate and quantify why he deserves to be back in the ring, kind of thing. And if you can't, what are you doing with wasting the man's time? You know what I mean?
Exactly. What you should have said, Roberto, okay, put Riddick Bowe aside, young man. You get into the ring, and we'll see we'll give you what you deserve. How's that?
Exactly.
Hey, I want to talk about, you made the comment, Morales and Barrera. Now, here's kind of like a tricky quiz trivia type. How many times did they fight, Roberto?
3 times.
Okay, I want you to think about that. How many times did they fight, Roberto?
Well, 3 times in the ring, 1 time on a soccer field almost, and 1 time they exchanged punches at a press conference.
So 5.
You're not going to pull anything over Roberto. I thought I had him, too.
Right? You said 3. I thought I had him, man. Sanctioned fights. Sanctioned fights, they've had 3.
Sanctioned fights in the ring 3 times.
Yeah, exactly, man.
But there's a possibility of a 4th. I think they're brewing a 4th.
Yeah, I heard different things there. Now, I want to say this. If Roy Jones is successful, he is, they mentioned, hey, would you fight Evander Holyfield? He said, no, I have no interest in Evander Holyfield. If things go the way that I think they're going to go, because, no fighter trains to lose, he said he wants your dude here at Golden Boy. And we're talking about the Hall of Famer, man, the man himself, the X-Man, B-Hop Bernard Hopkins one more time. What's your take on that? And if it happens, will Golden Boy support and push that event?
Absolutely. Look, if he wants B-Hop and B-Hop wants it, then let's do it again, because obviously I believe they're 1-1 now, so I have all faith that B-Hop, this man, still, even though he's retired, he lives, sleeps, trains, eats, many years people would always say, how can he do it? How can he do it? Well, he takes care of his body like nobody else. Nobody else. He has an alarm that goes off on his phone at 9 o'clock. Okay, it's bedtime. He has an alarm that goes up at 5 in the morning. Okay, it's time to get up and run. He went vegan now, and if you get him on the scale right now, he's probably 1 or 2 pounds under his fighting weight. So that's who B-Hop is, and that's why. No alcohol, sleeps in, eats healthy, took care of his body, so his body's going to take care of him. So absolutely.
See, that's how you articulate a fucking necessity for someone deserving to be back in the ring. That's how you would articulate it to a promoter. If I would just follow Roberto and go, look, that's how you have to explain it to me.
That's how you take care of yourself. Anyways.
Pitch it. Yeah, pitch it right.
That is a true professional, inside, outside, and in life.
And he tells the youngsters today, look, man, between fights, it's not vacation. That's when you have to keep working and training, get that body ready, so when you get the call for the fight, now you're working on strategy, not going to the gym to lose weight. But you tell, you could tell them until you go blue, but they don't listen at times. After a fight, most fighters think, okay, now I'm on vacation. Now I get to eat and do everything I didn't do while I was in camp. But then you gain 30, 40, or up to 50 pounds.
There is no off season in fighting.
No, and with Mexicano,
exactly.
And let me tell you something about being Mexicano, Cole. Like when you eat chips, you can't just eat one. Well, Mexicanos eat tortillas, my man, especially homemade. You're not going to just eat one.
It's a lot of carbs, bro. And you know what? And it's funny,
the
too.
Tortillas would just, they'll call you, man. They will call you over by name. They'll say, come in here, sit down with me.
I already made you a plate.
Let's have lunch. Yeah, exactly.
I already made you a plate, and you're like, damn. And you can't say no. And it's usually good food anyway. So it's like,
it's usually real good food.
Oh, man, you're twisting my arm. Like,
real
dude.
Good food. Real
but
good
no
food.
off season, man. You just got to always be. Like, look at Masvidal. Look at Diaz. They're on fucking boats drinking shots going, what? It's game time? 6 days?
Let's go.
Send me the flight.
Let's go.
Let me know. So
Yeah.
And that's a prime example is when they get that phone call, that opportunity's there, that window's there, and they know how hard they work, they're taking it. And that's why they stay ready, man, mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could probably pick his brain about some of the rest of that card, speaking of staying ready. Guys that stay ready and
I
get
do want to talk
opportunities.
about that card. I want to talk about do you know anything about the co-main event? Do you know who's on the prelims? Do you know any names out there, Roberto, that has been asked to contribute their talent on that card?
On which one? On the Jones-Tyson?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't. I haven't heard anything but what we read, that it's Jones-Tyson here in Carson. But I have not heard anything else as far as an undercard, or not even who's putting it together or anything.
We'll pick his matchmaking brain a little on this one.
Okay, yeah. Cole, tell us what you've heard. I'm gonna give you the mic right now. Tell us what your people have contacted you, and what's up in the air right now on that undercard.
So let me toss two names at you real quick, Robert, and you tell me what you think of it from a matchmaker's perspective. Obviously, I want to see what your thoughts are. So my understanding is that the co-main on that Tyson Jones card is going to be Badu Jack and Blake McKernan. What are your thoughts on those guys? It's probably going to be a cruiserweight fight, I think.
Well, Badu Jack, I know him very well. I mean, he fought, a couple of times on our cards coming up at the beginning, and great kid, former world champion, strong, talented. I think the opponent's undefeated. If that's the kid 13. I'm thinking of from Northern California.
Yeah, Sacktown.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've talked to his attorney in the past, Josh Escovedo. In fact, we were talking about the possibility of that fight right now, and I said, look, especially with not as many cards and opportunities right now, Josh, your guy has to take it. As long as that's the fight he wants, he has to take it. But it is a jump. It is a big jump in competition, but that's how he's going to find out where he's at. I mean, look, boxing's the real life Rocky movies. Rocky Balboa steps in the ring, not expected to win and pull up the upset. That's what boxing's about.
Especially
opportunities.
Now. Especially right now in today's society right now.
Especially
right now, exactly, because it's not like your phone's going to be ringing every day with different opportunities. So you could either sit it back and wait and hope that this is over, and who knows when that's going to be, or take this opportunity and really go test yourself right now that you feel good, that you're in shape, and if you have plenty of time to get ready, well, let's go do it,
I'm looking forward to the Beast jumping back in the ring, taking that opportunity.
We've talked about Blake a couple times on our show, and we've been eagerly anticipating his next, the next stage of his career kind of thing. We've been looking forward to it.
And the next level.
The next level, exactly. And from what Roberto was telling us, this is definitely going to be, like you said, a jump up. Badu's a former world champion. He's not a slouch. But like I said, it's a good opportunity to take an opportunity, go out there, put on a good fight, do your best, try to win the fight like everybody does, and then see where the chips land at that point. Because it's all about, like I said, what can you do? Like he saw the guy outside the rings. We're also outside the ring. That's what brought him in, was seeing him outside of the ring. So when you see what they can do you give them the opportunity, they make it or they don't.
Probably easier said than done. And I want your take on this. That's what you signed up for, right, Roberto? You're a fighter. To get those phone calls, to get those dream calls and opportunities, correct?
Exactly. And then you could also go on and say, well, I'm not going to fight these step-ups. And you could go 30-0. But you're only lying to yourself. It comes to a point where you want to know.
How good are you?
Exactly, and where I belong, and where am I going, and am I going to fight for a world title one day? Well, this is where you find out. If he loses in a great performance,
that's still a positive.
Start getting calls all over the place, and as long as it's a good performance. If he goes in there and wins,
even better.
Think about it. He beat a former world champion. Yeah. Now there's possibility of big fights and big purses coming out. And if he loses and it's a blowout, well, I gotta go learn something. I gotta get more experience, or maybe this is not for me. It just depends on what the outcome is and how he reacts to it. It's not how many times you fall; it's how many times you get up.
Yeah, I mean, just the opportunity. Like I said, it's the opportunity. A being a fight, and B, you get to be a co-main on a pay-per-view that pretty much a lot of people are going to be watching. Everyone's going to want to fucking see what happens to Tyson and Jones. So they're going to watch that card. So you're going to be given an opportunity, just like any of the guys we've come across that are told, hey, you're fighting in 2 weeks on the undercard, where that guy might have been 6 months between fights.
Yes.
It's like you're fighting it. 10 days later, boom. The UFC does it too. Yeah. Guy fought on the 14th.
But Joe Soto.
You
took that opportunity.
Yeah,
UFC fought for the belt.
Mornings fucking notice the weigh-ins. Hey, you want to fight for the belt tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, sign it.
Go lose 2 pounds. Let's go. Let's
Go
sign
lose
the
2 pounds,
contract.
get on the scale. Yeah. So opportunity. That's the biggest. If I have to tell anybody how would you define the fighting sports? Opportunity.
Exactly.
You'll eventually create one or
That's the key. That's
want
the
to
key.
present.
You know, many years ago, in fact, I was telling you guys when Barrera did that fight, it was December of 98.
Yeah.
On that undercard, there was going to be a world title fight, smaller weight classes. I think they were 112 pounders. One of the participants, it was a vacant WBO world title fight. One of the participants woke up the day of the weigh-in with a paralysis, couldn't fight.
Bummer.
In attendance, it was actually the day of the fight. In attendance was Isidro Chino Garcia.
Pull him from the
Who
crowd.
went to the fight scout because he said, maybe I'll fight the winner for that world title one day. The promoter, it wasn't as difficult as it is today with approvals. Obviously, we're talking almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they went over 20 years ago. They went to Isidro and said, hey, we just lost the fighter. Carita Lopez doesn't have an opponent. Montiel is out. Do you want to fight him?
Tonight.
Right now.
Tonight.
Tonight. Put your beer down.
And he's like, dude, I came to watch the fight. I didn't come to fight. I don't even have trunks, mouthpiece. We'll give you everything.
Yeah, we'll get it for you. Don't worry about it. We'll find it for you. Yeah.
He went home as a world champion.
That's
he went
insane,
home
dude.
with the belt.
Wow.
I mean,
That's insane.
is that a movie? I mean, think of it. But what
Yes.
if he says the typical answer? No, man, I need 4 weeks. I need 6 weeks. Okay, you know what? He would have been a world champion. He took a chance, stepped in the ring, fought Carita Lopez, and won the world title. Went home with a belt that night. They probably thought, where did you steal that when he got home?
Exactly, man.
Be like fighting Khabib out of the crowd.
But that opportunity's there.
Be like Dana going, hey, go get that guy up there. Khabib needs
Exactly.
an opponent. Fight Island.
Exactly. Hey, I'm gonna tell you a story and something that I do, and don't think it's corny, Roberto. Or don't think I'm throwing myself at you. Whenever I go cover fights, Cole, I always keep it, and I don't wear a tie. I wear my suit. I keep my shirt open, but I keep a tie in my bag.
You never know.
And I'm always taking these commentators in case somebody gets a sore throat or something happens, man. I mean,
Thanks too
with
much.
with a lot of them. You know, with another network, they kind of know what I do, but they have their people. But I keep it in there because you never know.
Yeah,
it's
they
like a
might come over.
fighter.
Great.
It's
That's
like a
great. Hey, it's that lucky charm that one day, oh, boom, I'm here. Hey, and you never know. From there,
you never know.
you
It's-
know, it takes off.
Tap on the shoulder.
It's like that fighter keeping his boxing trunks in his bag at every fight in his
Yeah.
mouthpiece.
you never
You know what I mean?
You never know, dude.
You never know.
Yep.
And what I tell these fighters is, oh, I don't got to fight right now. I got to fight right now. I said, well, there's a fight coming up at 147 pounds. You know these people. Why don't you just start training as if
that something might fall through.
Exactly.
Yeah,
'Cause
what's
you
the
never
worst that
freaking-
happens? You're in
So the
shape?
worst that's going to happen is you're going to get the call and you're not in shape, but you're going to get the call and you know damn well you're ready.
Yeah. Then the question is, what's the date and what's the purse? Is the purse worth
Exactly.
the opportunity? That's it. you know?
Exactly. And you know, hey, the rest is what they say is history. History.
Sign it.
So listen, man, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. I'm going to throw you up against the ropes. I'm going to throw a little flurry at you.
You got it.
Now, I'm going to talk about one of your good friends. Now, we've talked about people, possibly making a comeback and doing this, doing that. How true is it? And will we see Oscar De La Hoya in the ring anytime soon? With boxing gloves on.
We're not in the ring presenting one of the
No,
fights.
no, not putting the
Okay,
belt
okay.
around someone like Dana
as a
White.
pro-
None of that stuff. No. Not
not
the
as a
promoter's
promoter,
jacket
not as
on.
a promoter.
No.
Okay. You know what? You never know. Again, if that flame never turns off on these on fighters like this, of this level, these champions. You're seeing. I think that might have motivated him. Seeing Mike Tyson, seeing Evander Holyfield, seeing Roy Jones, and
gonna turn a
maybe
light
that
on.
Yeah.
I know he has been running. He goes to the little Rose Bowl and runs a couple laps over there. And once you start feeling good, but I think also, you know what? That's where we have to come in and say, Oscar, it's one thing to feel good. You feel in shape. You feel healthy. You're running. But it's a different thing to go in there and start taking punches again, because as good as you are and the reflexes might still be there, again, you can't fool Father Time. And the last thing we want to see is him getting hurt or saying, hey, look, I still got it. I'm going to keep going. So, obviously we'll have to go in there and try and convince them not to. But, again, they hear that bell and they start, hey, I can do this.
Okay. Oscar says, okay, I'm going to do it. I got clearance from my doctor. I got clearance from my wife, from my team. Okay, Roberto, I need you to go do your job right now. Find me a worthy opponent. Bring me 3 names so I can say a yay or nay, and it's going to be under Golden Boy's promotion. Who are those 3 fighters, Roberto?
Tito Trinidad, Felix Trinidad, and Tito Trinidad. Tito Trinidad.
Right, okay. three aliases of the same fucking guy. No,
there you go.
I can see Felix. That would be it's in the same range of era.
Exactly, and that's why, it was the fight we
and it
never
never
got
happened.
to see again.
Exactly.
It never happened, the rematch. Tito's been retired. He had some tremendous fights and everything, but I think that would still be the fight that would light up that flame enough to say, it's a real fight, and it's a fight that I've always wanted. And, both sides would probably, because of pride and honor and everything, prepare themselves to the best.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. It would give them reason, some purpose, combative purpose, competition-wise.
You know why I wanted to see it? And it had a small window, but it never happened. Remember when Oscar was at 154s? No, he had just come down from 160s fighting Bernard Hopkins. And then Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was moving up to 160s. And they had like a little small window, but that would have been awesome, for him and, the storyline, everything behind it.
Oh, yeah, I think
that would have been great.
People, it would have been definitely, because obviously the build-up would be, the son's now coming to avenge his dad. That's like a movie right there.
Writes itself, yeah.
Exactly, man. Well, you know what, Roberto? Your whole life has been like a written movie, man. I mean, nothing's impossible. You never know when you walk outside your door or when you wake up in the morning what opportunity is going to come your way. And, iron sharpens iron, man. And when I say that, it's success welcome success. I'm sure your surroundings and your circle, I don't want to say the bubble circle, is just around the people that motivate you and that are just there, knowing when that opportunity comes, you want to surround yourself with the best people and team around you. Talk to us about, in closing, what exactly the future holds for Roberto Diaz.
Well, I again, because I work with boxers, athletes, champions, I learned a lot from them. And my aspect on life is it's a match. It's a 12-round match. And there's going to be good days as there's good rounds. There's going to be bad days as there's bad rounds. There's going to be knockdowns. You got to get up, keep moving forward. At the end of the day, it's a 12-round fight. As long as you give it your all, sometimes you might want to quit. You got to keep moving forward.
It's twice we've heard that reference now.
Exactly. So I really, no matter what problems thrown, I think to myself, hey, we're fighters. We're all fighters.
Exactly.
Everybody in life, we're fighting every day.
Every fighter has a voice, Roberto.
Exactly. So I put myself what I would do in the situation if I was in the ring. So that's how I try to throw it at it. So look, my main goal now is I've continue doing what we're doing, continue growing, continue seeing some of these young kids make their dreams come true by becoming champions right now through the pandemic. Shout out to Joshua Franco, brand new world champion from WBA for San Antonio.
Exactly.
When we called Robert Garcia, I called him, hey, what do you think? We got a world title shot, this and that. Let's do it. He didn't say I need more time or Josh needs...
No, Roberto, I want to know exactly what Robert said. Okay, this is the Fighters West Kick-Ass podcast because I know Robert personally. I know what he probably said. What exactly
it was way more colorful.
Yes.
He said, you got the beep ready? He said, fuck yeah, let's do it.
That's him.
That sounds more like our...
there you go, exactly.
Sounds more like Senior. Senior's colorful, man.
So much confidence.
That's his MO, bro.
Confidence going into that fight. If we knew we were undefeated world champion, a top rank, props to top rank. Obviously they came back and did the summer series with all the fights and everything, and we learned a lot just from watching and reading the stories and talking to Carl Moretti and everything that what they went through with some positive tests and then some overweight issues, and that pool is small, but we got to keep working and pushing our sport and giving the fans what they want, entertaining fights. Got to cut the crap with all we won't fight him because he's across the street. But some of the biggest fights in history were made by promoters that didn't like each other.
Co-promoters, man.
Yeah, so it's like we have to put our best against their best against just do a Super Bowl. And boxing wins, fighters win, fans win. Everybody wins at the end of the day. That's going to be, what I'm going to keep trying to push. the best against the best.
You know what? Exactly. Very well said.
Yeah.
You know, Roberto, you have one of those mouthpieces. I just can't get away. I'm probably going to be blowing you up once a month. I got to have you on this show, man. I mean, because
Anytime, Richard. Anytime. It's a pleasure always to be on with you guys, and it's fun. And you know what? As long as you guys call me, I'm there.
hey, you heard it from the man himself. Cole, any closing words with the new vice president of Golden Boy Promotions?
Thank you.
Just
we're back August 28th, back at Fantasy Springs with some very, very entertaining fights. People don't want to miss it on the zone. Jorge Linares is back against Javier Fortuna. You got two former world champions trying to stay alive.
That's going to be
trying
fire.
to get into the big fights. That's going to be a very good fight because you have a big puncher, awkward style against the stylist Linares. On the co-main event, the return of Rashidi Ellis. You know, Rashidi's now number 9 in the world, looking to fight the bigger fights, wants to fight Virgil Ortiz, wants to fight some of the bigger names. So this is his time to go out there and shine and make it say, like, people want to see him fight these other guys so they can start pressuring some of these other fighters. And Alexis Rocha, Beck the Bully, Marlene Esparza. I mean, we have a strong undercard, so we're excited. Lamont Roach is coming back. He was one of the first fights that fell out when we had to cancel, so he's back on August 28th as well.
Man, that sounds exciting, man. That's those names right there. Those are all barn burners right there, man.
Right, I'm waiting for Golden Boy Island.
There you go. Golden Boy
UFC's got
Island. I
theirs,
like
man.
that.
That's-
Golden Boy
Golden
Island.
Boy Island.
Yeah, that would be nice. Hey, let's do it in Cancun. I love Cancun.
There you go. What do you got for him, my man?
That's it, man. Just enjoy the UFC fights as they come. I don't know if you're a big, MMA fan at all or not, Roberto, but if you get a chance, man, there's some good fights coming up. UFC we had some good ones over the weekend, but they've got 252 coming up, some trilogies in there. So I know you're a big fan of like fighters having, trilogy fights over their career and stuff. It's good for entertainment stuff.
Absolutely.
You're a big fan of it,
I'll
so
definitely be checking that out.
yeah. The only one I would say as far as that specifically that I think you'd enjoy would be the Stipe and the DC Cormier fight. That's going to be a trilogy fight. It's going to be a heavyweight fight. I want to say that's on August 15th. Yeah, mid-August. But that would be it's a main event fight, and it's a trilogy fight.
There's controversy already on that fight.
Yeah, guys, these two put a huge fight.
Because the size of the cage already, Roberto, it favors the former champion.
Exactly. So as far as trilogy fights go, if that's your taste for combat sports, I would say as far as MMA goes, man, I would highly recommend you catch that one.
I will be on it. I'll check it out. Thank you so much.
Good, man.
And Roberto, I'm gonna inbox you later on, man. I'm gonna need your address, man, because I gotta send you the Fighter's Voice T-shirt and hat. And I want to tell a quick story before I let you go. We're in Fresno, California. You're there with your fighter there. You're supporting him. I go to our engineer KP, and I said, "Hey, is that Roberto?" Yeah. And what I heard in the background was they were saying, "Who is this freaking sharp-dressed GQ $500 cologne wearing Mexicano Blake Carrington looking dude?" And I said, "That's the matchmaker, man."
Right? That's the man in charge right now.
And you can see the ring on his finger. And they said, "Hey, is he married?" I said, "You know what? He's right there. Go see him."
Knock yourselves out, ladies.
True story, man. True story.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we were there with Lamont Roach last year. Rick, one of the hardest workers in boxing. In fact, I owe him a call. I got to talk to him later. And he took care of us out there. You know what? We came up short. But all props to Jamel Herring that night. You know what?
Yeah.
He did what he had to do. And he's good for the sport, gentleman. And now we're going in with Jonathan Oquendo in September to try to take his title and bring it back. But all respects and a lot of love for Herring. He's a great champion.
Very well said. Bro, I'm going to let you go, man. It's always a pleasure having you on, and I'm going to take you up on that, man. Vice President of Golden Boy Promotions. I'm going to have to book you already in August, man. We're going to see what date works for you because, and I'm sorry for all the questions that I could not get to, ladies and gentlemen, and the ones that submitted your questions. We appreciate the questions that were sent to us directly. Like I said, we would have been here all day long because the questions were just coming in like crazy. Well, bro, you're becoming an icon, and now that you have that other title, you have 2 titles, so like an undisputed. You know what I mean? Because it's a different belt. It's a different weight class. Because it's a different check stub. I will say that. So it's a different type of belt, my man.
I gotta get that belt. I gotta get another one there. Let me go look for another one. I gotta get to that Matchmaker of the Year or something. Let me put on some good fights so that people can be happy.
There you go. You call things as if they're not as if they are, and consider it done.
Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe, stay strong. Until the next time, and 2 thumbs up for Richie.
Always, man. Hey,
Thank you,
ladies and
Roberto.
gentlemen, we're going to cut off right now. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz, co-Escovedo, and our guest, the wonderful, the man, the myth, the legend, the vice president, Roberto Diaz. And it's a wrap, Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, the special guests, and all the crew right here at the Kick-Ass Podcast, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.